So today we're at a different location. We're getting ready to go to panel tomorrow. And on my way to panel, I stopped and saw my god kids. So if you hear anything, it's the god cheering, having a good time, hanging out with some family today. So we're gonna keep this show kind of short, hopefully under an hour. Good morning, Miss Spears, or good afternoon. Do. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody doing okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what we got. All right. No, man. Not at not here. Not here. Banner. Banner. So, hey guys, in a couple weeks, it's going to get very, 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 very political. So as you guys know, I sent out two letters. I sent out two letters to both slates running, the Power slate, the I slate, and the Verma slate reached out and said that they are going to accept the debate and come on July 4th. Don't know if the slate will be here or not. We'll find out sometime soon, I guess, either yes or no. But the Verma slate said, regardless of what Mr. O'Brien and his team decide to do, that they will be here. So it should be good. It should be great. Let me see if I can bring sis in. No, I cannot. What's up? What's up, Miss Twin? What's happening? You trying to jump on? Representing the UCLA? Local 2010? Yeah, so again, the power slate accepted. I don't know what's up with the I slate. I don't know what they're gonna do. We'll find out, if they do or not. But again, regardless of if the I slate comes, Mr. Verma said he's gonna come and get with. So everybody say hello to my good buddy, good friend here, Supernova. She's gonna do the show with me today. You gonna do the show with me? Okay, good. All right, sis. Let me bring you in here, and if I can find you. Nope, I don't see you yet. Yeah, what's up, Ruben? What's going on, brother? So, yeah, it's getting ready to heat up, guys. It's getting ready to heat up in the political realm here. Let me see. Let me see if I can bring sis in here. No, I can't. So what's been going on, good people, man? What's going on? What's happening, man? What up? What's up, Eugene? What's up, Miss Ewing? What's going on? How y'all feeling? Y'all been paying attention to what's been going on with this IBT election? We got to get our people to vote. All right, it's getting ready to come down to it in 2 weeks. The IBT convention starts. Hopefully it all right. hopefully it goes through with no hiccups. You know what I mean? All right. All right, so So how y'all been, man? Y'all been all right? Hey, Amy, twin, send me a request to join in. I can bring you in. We can start the show. I see you on here, but I don't see where I can add you. Let me see here. What are they gonna do? Twin. Uh-oh. Man, why this thing doing this? Man, I don't know what's going on. What's up, Joe? Man, it didn't even let me do it. No problem, Eugene. What's going on with you? Dr. Cooper, what's happening? Brother Thompson? Let me see. Hey, Dr. Cooper, you want to jump in here while we set up? Or Miss Ewing, you want to jump in? We could talk about Local 743, Miss Deborah Simmons. Why this thing doing this today, y'all? I have no idea. See, look at that. I don't know. What's been going on, Eugene? What's been going on up there? So, while we wait for one of the people from UCLA to join in, I just want to talk about the election and how we can get our people more engaged in voting. As you guys see, there's still that systemic problem of not wanting the members to participate more in their union. There's a lot of lip service, but when it comes to actually doing it, you're going to get pushback, and I have no idea why. If this is about member engagement, member involvement, then whenever someone makes when someone makes a suggestion that we should get our members involved, then there should be no problem. It should be no issue. It should be no stipulations. It should just be, hey, I'm coming. I'm going to do this because listen, this election, man, this is very, very unique because again, for the first time in 20 years, Mr. Hoffa is not running. So what's up, Jamie? So for the first time in 20 years, we're going to have a different leader in office. Hopefully it'll be a different vision and ideas. Because what we have right now, what's been going on, it hasn't been helpful for the just overall life blood of the Teamsters. So I'm hoping whoever wins can do something to change that. Because right now, man, we in trouble, man. We are in trouble. I may get my sis here. See she come in. Let me see. Cancel. And I know, Eugene, but the problem is this. From what I see, and this is just my opinion, what I see right now, what's been going on is this. People running want to pick the voters and not have the voters pick the leaders. And that's the wrong way to look at it. This is the members union. It's not anybody that's running union. It's the members. And for whatever reason, the members keep allowing that. And I don't know why. The reason why these leaders can just keep doing what they're doing is because the members allow it. We allow it. And we got to change that. And that's why if you guys see, what I'm doing, and of course it ruffles some feathers and people getting all their feelings, but I don't care. Say, what's up, Faith? This is my goddaughter, Faith, that came down to visit them on our way to panel. Show them the shirt you got. She got the 623 Lives Matter shirt on, man. I think I'm going to run with her next time. You know what I mean?
623 Lives Matter.
There you go. Yep. So, again, the members got to get involved.
Excuse me.
Just the bottom line. Yes, ma'am.
What's your favorite animal?
Animal? My favorite animal? A lion. Yeah, so, members got to get involved, guys. That's just the bottom line. That's the purpose of us doing these videos, because if the members don't get involved, we're going to be in trouble. Like I said before, the leaders want to pick the voters instead of the voters picking the leaders, and you see that. That's why you saw so much pushback when we asked for a debate at the Union Hall. There should have been no pushback. We coming. That should have been it from both sides. We coming. There's no this, that, and the other, boom, boom, boom. No, we're coming because the members need to know what's going on. We need to know that what's been happening over the last decade or so will not continue to happen. And the only way to do that is face-to-face debate. That's the only way this is going to happen. You can say whatever you want to say online, Facebook, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But if your actions have not demonstrated that for the last decade or so, people are going to have doubts. They're going to have problems with that. And leadership be in their feelings because people want more transparency from their leaders. I just don't understand why there's so much pushback on this. Listen, I don't care where the debate is going to be held at. The reason why I think it should be here in Philly, number one, there is, our members they got a lot of concerns, just like a lot of other members across the country. Y'all guys got to understand, the last 10 years have been detrimental to the Teamsters, especially if you're a UPSer. And this is not just about UPS, but 99.999% of my membership are UPSers. So when you look at 2013 and you've seen what happened. So from 2013 up until now, it has been just a lot of degradation, concessions, just been a lot of going backwards by the people in the IBT. And so now you have a block of people who are telling us that, hey, that's not going to happen anymore. And you're like, well, we need to know why it's not going to happen. We need more than just lip service. Lip service is how we got here. You told us one thing before and you didn't do it. And your actions demonstrated something differently. Same thing going on now. And we got to change that. Let me see if I can get... man, why this thing's not acting right today, y'all. Uh-oh, no answer. Well, Eugene, I think that may be true. That may be true, but we got to change that. We got to change that, because if not, no matter who's in leadership, it's going to be the same thing. And that's why I keep telling people, man, it's not about, we got to stop focusing on who's running and make sure we focus on voting and get our members to participate. Somebody said something yesterday. We want the Teamsters to win. We want the Teamsters to win. The membership has the power, but they don't know it because we focus so much on the people in leadership. And don't get me wrong, leadership is very, very important. It is. But when you have when the basis of your power comes from your members, then you need to focus and invest more into them and not so much the people who want to run the union, the people who built this union, the people who work in this union, the people who go to work every day and put their boots on and drive these trucks, deliver these packages, and and all the public and private sector people we have. These are the people who have the power. It's not me. It's not Verma. It's not O'Brien. It's not Herrera. It's not Zuckerman. It's the people. And until we focus more on the people, it's gonna be more of the same. So I'm hoping. You know what, Eugene? You're right. They do. You do. But for whatever reason, we like fighting each other. We like tearing each other down. You support who you want to support. God bless you on that. I support who I want to support. God bless you on that too. Yeah, Jeff, you're right, brother. We are challenged, man. We are challenged to the core. This is for the soul of the teams is right here. Whoever we pick to run this organization, it's going to be for the soul of this group. And we have been in a bind over the last decade or more. It's not just about UPS. It's not about one company. It's about all of us, and all of us have had something that should make us want to vote. For me, dude, it was believing. It was believing in leadership more than believing in my people. That's why I got involved in this, and I can tell y'all, 2013 was an eye-opening experience. I learned a lot. I saw a lot of politics during that time. Was involved in it, and it's sad, man. It's sad, sad. And I wish that I wish we could just, and I know you can't. I know you can't. But I wish there was a way that all of us could handle the politics better, because we setting a bad example, man, for the people that come behind us, and the company's just laughing at us. They're laughing. I could just tell you some of the conversations I'm having here at 623 about when I put those letters out, about having a debate. My members are like, why so much of the pushback? Why so much of the beef? If you're running for general president, there is no we got to do it this way. No, I'm coming. I'm coming. And there is, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. So hopefully we'll have both parties come here on July 4th. Like I said, Verma said he's coming, man. Matter of fact, when he got the letter, when he saw the letter, he called me the next day and said he coming. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what Mr. O'Brien's going to do. He called me, I think last week. No, he called me earlier this week, I believe. And he was saying something about, huh? Okay. And he said that they was looking to go into different places and stuff like that. Listen, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. To me, if anybody, if a local union wants to have a debate, I'm showing up. That's just the bottom line. Whatever rules you want to have, whatever regulations you want to have, I'm coming, because I'm running for the top spot in the union. Again, the members don't owe anything to either side. And that's what I think we got to understand as members. These people are trying to make you feel like you owe them. You owe them your vote. No, you don't. They got to earn it. They got to earn it. They owe you. You don't owe them anything. And that's the why. That's how I try to do this job that I have, man. I owe my members everything. So, I don't know. Hey, John, what's up, man? I'm gonna bring you in, dude. Let me see. Where we at? Let me see where we at. What's up, good people? Yeah, that's true, brother Chris. If anybody want to come in, man, y'all hit the request to join, and I'll bring you in. All right. Yeah, I don't know why they don't have any respect for us when we paying them all this money, man. And I get it. And our local's about 6,000, between 5 and 6,000 members, and we send about 40 to $50,000 to the RBT a month. I could just imagine if you got one of these locals, 16, 17,000 members, and you're sending them all this money, and then this is the kind of response you get. Let me see what we got. Yeah, man. So I just don't get it. So it look like we got Brother Silvera coming back. Should be another a good conversation. Absolutely, absolutely, Miss Booker. Absolutely. If you ain't got nothing to hide, what's going on? Those who have nothing to hide, hide nothing. What's up, good brother? Welcome back. Welcome back.
Man, good morning, America.
Yeah. Hey, man. Listen, I got so
We
many
call
phone
it
calls,
situation room.
and texts from. Huh? Uh-oh. There you go. That. So, how you been doing?
Man, I've been doing real good, brother, you know.
Good.
But when you talked about the whole thing with the local unions, remember, last week we talked about what happened when they went to the percentage per capita. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You start to begin the breakdown of the original structure of this international union, which at the end of the day weakens rank and file involvement. And when you weaken rank and file involvement, then you weaken the entire, you're the leader of nothing.
Right.
You
Right.
know, you're the leader
Absolutely.
of you're the captain of a sinking ship.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you got to excuse
So,
me. I'm in the kitchen doing kitchen duty.
oh, I got you.
If
I
you see
got
me
you.
move
I
around,
know.
I'm
I know.
just
I know all about
moving
that.
plates and pots.
I know all about that. Hey, listen. Last week when we did our show, a lot of texts, a lot of calls. Man, they like the show. They like the whole dynamic of the future, and I want to call you the past, but they like the dynamic of young and old and how we're trying to progress this union.
Well, the union is a continuum. You know, the
Right.
union is not young or old. The union is a continuum. Life is a continuum. 801 ain't separated from 802. I'm talking about time.
Mm-hmm.
9 o'clock is not separated from 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? It's a continuum. And so my role is to strengthen you. And I had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and I said that I so admire how you flow and what you do, and I wanted you to never feel lonely the way I felt lonely when I was stepping up and trying to be that independent voice, that independent mind. And I don't want you to be lonely, and I'm gonna be here standing with you,
I,
rock solid, man, because I don't want you to be lonely.
I appreciate that. Something that I wanted to talk to today was that it's about when you make history and when you do something that never been done before. And I know you can appreciate this. When you do those kinds of things, um, you don't do them by playing by the rules, so to speak. You got to go outside the box. You got to think outside the box. You got to ruffle some people's feathers. And I think that's what we're doing now. When we have these conversations, people are not happy. The establishment is not happy. The systemic problem that we have in RBT, those people are not happy. They just want you to come along with the get along and go along with it. But I can't do that. Our members at 623 and other members across this country are tired of that. They're tired of the same old, same old. I know I'm tired of it.
Right,
And
and believe me, there's a million Teamsters who are tired of it, but it's easier to abdicate responsibility than accept responsibility. So you
mm-hmm,
got a contract, you get your due, you get your increase in pay. Every month you cry about the union dues, but you're not coming out to a contract proposal meeting. You're not coming
mm-hmm,
out to the ratification. When we call you and say, hey, listen, we're doing a demo over here or a demo over there, I don't see you. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get these members to understand it is you.
yes,
At the heart of this union is its membership. You know what I'm saying? So if the heart stops beating,
you
if the
die.
membership is gone, you dying,
That's
right?
it.
UPS is gonna have fear if we double the vote count
Yes.
in this upcoming election. I'm gonna tell you, not only UPS, I'm gonna tell you that corporate America is gonna have fear because the Teamsters have always been one of the dynamic leaders within the labor movement quietly. It's got its issues, don't get me wrong, they all have their issues, but it has accomplished so much in terms of building a benefit for the working people. But today, we 45% behind in wages and benefits. You know what I'm saying? So now, how do we catch up? You know what I'm saying? If you're like a Cubs fan, you know what I'm saying? You've been waiting 100 years to win a
Yeah.
World Series. Well, we don't want to wait 100 years to win our World Series. And that's going to require us to be able to get these million teamsters up and running and involved.
I agree. And that's why I think these debates are very, very important, because now you get to see, in person what each individual member of the slate and the slate as a whole will bring to, like you just talked about, organizing more members and strengthening the labor movement. So I'm hoping that these things take place, because anybody can tell you something when it's easy and when it's uncomfortable. I mean, when it's comfortable. But you can tell what a leader's going to do when you make them uncomfortable. When they got to face the accusers, when they got to face the people that they've done wrong for years, and they got to face them, look them in the face, and it didn't cost them thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You can tell right then and there, what kind of leader they're going to be. And that's why I think these debates are very, very important, and they got to take place. They got to
That's right.
take place.
And you kind of went on something when you talk about these debates, because you have at the bottom of the, we kind of focus on just the general president. One of the problems that we have in this whole process is a weak executive board, right? So you have this all-powerful general president, to some lesser extent, the general secretary treasurer, but you have a weak executive board who are just there thankful that they're making this extra check per year. When I came into this union, you actually had to be a person of power. Now, they didn't always do the right thing, don't get me wrong, but you still had to be a wielder of power to sit on that general executive board. Today, they gather in people, but do you have the power to be able to challenge the leadership? And I'm just going to give you a little backdrop. One of the reasons like 710, even though they represent UPS and freight, are outside of the master freight agreement and outside of Central State's pension plan, was those leaders had the power to tell Hoffa, the father, the real Jimmy Hoffa, that we don't want to do that. That's cool with that. You can have them guys. We handling our business. You understand what I'm saying? And they had the power. So you need to make sure that our vice presidents have that power, not staff, not aides to the general president, which is what's happening now. If you want to talk to Hoffa, you got to go through this guy and go through that guy. Years ago, you would call up your vice president and he would get you that meeting with the general president as a local union leader. Today, they're like Democrats and Republicans. It's sick.
Right. Yeah, and something you said last week, I thought about that. We're not Democrat or Republican. We're supposed to be unified in everything that we do.
That's right.
And I get it. I get it. Elections are and politics are by nature divisive, by nature. I get all that. But some of the stuff that you see now, man, is out of control, because now I think that you give the company more ammunition to use against the membership, because we're busy fighting each other while the company taking their billions to the bank, eroding safety protections and all this other kind of stuff. So, but like you said last week, and even saying now, the members have to become engaged. They have to be. We have to, and that's what and that's why we doing this show. That's why we do our rallies.
That's important. That's it. Yeah.
Because again, I don't ever want our members to feel like, man, these guys ain't doing nothing for me. They're just taking my money. They don't never show up for me. And so we always show up, always.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
but
care.
You're doing it the way it was intended, though, from the grassroots. See, the local is the grassroots.
Right.
So you're doing this not from some international position. This is grassroots action right here, and that's what's making your show powerful, man. I'm waiting to see 100,000 people start being on this thing. We overwhelm Facebook. They got to get 3 more computer banks to handle this. That's what we need to have. Yeah, man,
right. Absolutely. The message has to get out. Yeah. Social media is very, very powerful. Like something you said last week about getting a block of time on CNN and these other news outlets to talk about labor issues. I think is very important because we even had a partnership here in Philly with Yale Philly, a group of young people between 18 and 21 about unions and getting into the labor movement. Because my idea is you get to the worker before they start working. And these people, they coming out of school, you know, they may not be able to go to college, but they can get a good trade, get a good union job to prepare them for the rest of their lives, take care of their families. So I'm looking forward to this new partnership that we got because our actually first meeting is July the 2nd. And we're just going to make it, you know, try to do a lot more work within the community, our young people, because listen, I wish someone would have took me under their wing when I was 20,
Right, right.
19 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause I could understand what it was like to be, or what is like to be in a union. You know, coming from the South, growing up, man, there's no talk of unions. There's no talk about, you know, labor movement. I didn't know anything about it until I came up here to Philly. You know, so we gotta get our young people early. We gotta get them early.
Well, the Teamsters National Black Caucus, man, been highly engaged in going into schools and doing that type of education and that outreach. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You know, we had adopted a school in Mississippi, Piney Woods, which was one of the last four surviving private boarding high schools there. And we used to go down there and do a whole educational program every year, just to introduce those children not only to the history of us as a people, but also to the fact that there's this thing called a union and what it does. And some of you are going to go to college and some of you are not going to be college material, but there are jobs out there such as UPS and other
Hmm.
jobs, railroad, so forth and so on, that allows you to still be able to make that kind of living. And I know some of the chapters, I know like Southern California chapter does some work out there, actually going out and bringing UPS to connect with and creating these job fairs to allow young kids to come in and be exposed to UPS. We have to use our power to
Yes.
help our community. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
you know some of these jobs are still too white. You know what I mean? So when you get to the construction part of our union, we tend to disappear. When you get into the movie part of our union, unless you're in the South, we tend to disappear. And we need to address those missing portions. And to me, those are forms of weaknesses that we need to address within the union.
So speaking of that, how do we get minority members more involved in the union? Because if you look at the union right now, the majority of the people who do the back breaking work look like you and I,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't vote. We don't vote. And then when you look at the leadership, it's almost non-existent. I think in my joint council, it's just three minority um, principal officers and one woman.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we get um, from as they say from the how do we get from serving the people at the table to having a seat at the table?
So, you know, we talked about these 400,000 African Americans. I don't want to call them African Americans because they're not all African, but some of them from the Caribbean and so forth. But all these Africans in America who are Teamsters, and that is about getting them. See, one of the early things that they tend to do is to underestimate, marginalize us, and in essence, act like, you know, we really can't do anything. And I'm just going to give you a for instance. Every slate that has blacks on the slate. So if you're on Verima's slate, if you're on Sean's slate, each individual is required to come up with 85 or so $1,000 so that they can have the money to travel and pay for this and pay for that, the normal course of any campaign. Very few blacks throughout time have ever come up with any of that money. So what happens is, as the campaign goes on, you can only raise $3,000-4,000 with your 250-50 raffles, and you then need the white people on your slate to now funnel money to you, right? And this is true going back from 1991. Even the blacks who could raise the money didn't raise the money. I guess some of them didn't even have faith in themselves. But and then we have black workers, black members who have no faith in us as black leadership, right? So we have to do a double duty to raise money for black candidates. So if you're a supporter of the Sean O'Brien, Zuckerman slate, then you have to do due diligence to raise money for those candidates, those black candidates on that slate so they can look good. And if you're on the Verma Horizon, then you got to raise money for those candidates on that slate so they could look good. Because when you sit down at the first board meeting and you start talking, if I'm one of the white guys, even if I was one of the black guys and raised my money, the first thing I said, yo, man, don't forget, man, you wouldn't be here. You didn't have your money. I had to give you some money. So right away, it's an uneven room, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we have to engage. We have to be willing to give money. We have to be willing to participate. We have to be willing to vote. And if you give money, you'll vote for the thing that you ain't going to put your money on the number 6 horse in the 7th race if you don't plan on emotionally driving that horse to victory, right? So we have to become engaged. We have to become a part of this process in more ways than just beefing in the locker room.
I agree. Yeah, because I think a lot of our members don't get involved because they don't see the representation in leadership, not just in culture or race, but just not even in our buildings. There's no representation. If you look at, for an example, and this is one of the things why I think UPS will always have an upper hand when it comes to reaching our members. The CEO of UPS, for the first time in history, is a woman. That was done by design. If you look at my district, you have the president of the Chesapeake district, which I am in. She's a Latino woman. If you look at the president of the Eastern region, she's a black woman. All this was done by design. When I go into the UPS shops, the majority of the supervisors look like the workers. And so it's easier for them to talk to them. It's easier for them to engage them because, hey, they hang out together. They go to the same churches, the same movies, and all of this. But when you look at the Teamsters and the membership, it is very, very difficult for a lot of the people running to have any type of representational relationship with our members. Go
So
ahead.
if you remember, when we last spoke, I told you that corporate America was more successful in bringing in people of color and women into the workforce because they can't afford to have a secondary person be in charge. So they want the best person in charge. And if that's going to be a woman, that's going to be a woman. But let me just backtrack because their success also comes from a thing that was a confrontation between blacks and whites, which is the Civil Rights Act, right? So the Civil Rights Act created the environment for these women to reach their place. However, are these women going to bring something to the table that's different than white men, right? And what is that difference? And does that difference, because they're women, create a better work environment, a more productive work environment, but a better work environment? So they have to bring something to the table other than being a woman, other than being black, other than being Latino. You have to bring something here that when I come to work and see you, I smile. I feel better about coming into this shop today than I did yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But the union, like I said, the union really, because of the weakness at this higher level, so you have this very powerful general president, these weaker underlings who all have to kiss the ring and sometimes other places besides the ring. So those weak leaders become the face, but they're not going to challenge anything. So this leader actually becomes very dictatorial, and that has weakened the structure. And that's why we say, do your homework. Look at these people. Did you see any of them marching when Sean Bell got killed? Did you see any of them marching when Eric Gardner got killed? Did you see any of them speaking out? And I'm not talking about, some big locals that can just put out press releases for the heck of it, but actually had bodies in the street doing stuff, right? So that's where we're going to have to start to make a demand. And it does not change until the rank and file get involved and cast that ballot, because the leadership have to now realize that it is no longer this narrow 250,000 people. We now have 750,000 people voting, and that's going to make them realize that work got to be done if you plan to keep your power.
Absolutely. And I'm hoping that, especially with the convention coming in the next 2 weeks, that our members really start, like you said, doing their homework. Listen, every candidate, especially once you start talking about general secretary and general president, no one is perfect. A lot of people have made some mistakes and done some things that, it's hard to vote for them, but we got to vote. And I think what it's going to come down to is each individual asking themselves a few questions. Where do you want this union to go? Are you happy the way it's been? And what are you going to do to ensure? What are you going to do to ensure that it moves forward? And who, and what slate and what group and who individuals can make that happen? Because I'm going back and forth in my mind a lot about that kind of stuff. There's some issues I have, some concerns that I have, a lot of concerns my members have, because over the last decade we've been stuck in this rut, and now we're trying to get out of it. But every time it seems like we're trying to get out, they try to pull you back in, and I don't like that. I don't like that. So I'm hoping that people pay attention. Do your research. Don't let all the outside noises confuse you.
That's right.
And convolute the truth. Let your truth be your truth. I mean, listen, I get beat up all the time so I done heard so many things about me. I'm a fence rider. I'm a backstabber. I'm an empty Sunday suit. This, that, and the other. But I don't care, because like I said earlier, I didn't get to this position because I cared about what other people said, or because I did it by playing by the book, or I got along with the get along. You don't make history, and you don't become the first to do something because of following the rule book. You gotta have your own set of rules. And yeah, you're gonna ruffle some feathers. People are gonna get mad, but you gotta do it the way that you know how to do it. And
Right.
And that's what we're gonna continue to do here.
So one of the things that I've found in my experience is the fact that, and I'm using the word leaders somewhat loosely. They might hold titles of leadership, but some of them are not really leaders. Is that you are a leader if you're following them. But the minute you decide to act on your own instincts, on your own thought process, now you're something else. And that something else can range from less than a dog with a bent back to, something 6,000 feet under the sea. So, but they don't want that independent-minded Black leadership. They hated King. They hated Malcolm. They hated Elijah Muhammad. They hated Farrakhan. They hate anybody that don't go along. Now, if you're going to go along, and if you're going to chant and sing their songs, then you are a great leader. Oh, he's a great leader because he's following me. And so we have to be very careful about who we allow to influence us. And we did a ratification vote on Friday, and one of my stewards, who I was very surprised to see a quote from Malcolm X up on his phone, must be doing something righteous. And he says, Chris, did you ever see this? And it was Malcolm saying how the media can have you love your enemy. The power of the media can have you to love your enemy and hate your friend, And so we live in that kind of an environment. I tell people, pick up a book and read it. You should read a a book a month. You should read a book every other month. You should, and I don't mean watching no TV. I don't mean watching no documentary, because a documentary also has its own tilts. But a book gets into a depth of detail that an hour and a half on a documentary cannot do.
Absolutely.
Right? And so we need to, I tell people reading is fundamental. And one day people are going to find out you can't tweet it, you can't TikTok it. You got to sit down and put in them 14 hours and read that book. Right.
Absolutely.
And that's how we're going to start to make those correct decisions. And like I say, I don't have a hat, but my hat's off to what you do, because I believe that this forum that members can come in on Sunday and spend some time and listen and share and participate is going to be very important as we go forward as a movement.
I agree. So now with the delegate convention coming up in the next couple of weeks, what do you see happening? I mean, because you hear that the Oz team is going to beat the brakes off of the Vermin team, and then you hear that it's going to be close. I'm very interested. But my thing is this: I think if the delegate votes are maybe 50 to 100, separated by that small, I think we're going to be in for a dogfight in November. I think it's going to be really, really. Now, if it's astronomical, I mean, of course, the other side probably believe they still got a chance, but I think it would be a lot easier. Of course, if it was closer. I want to see what's going to happen. What you think is going to happen with these delegates?
So I'm hoping, because the delegates is only a minor structure of the union, right? I don't know how many delegates there are, 5,000, whatever it is, right? You still have 1,200,000, 300,000 Teamsters that have to vote. So I'm less interested in what the delegates do, because, you got delegates that's looking for a second check, maybe even a third check. You got delegates that's looking for something. And they have their interests, whether it's local union leaders or what have you, like that. So I'm really not even interested in what the delegates do. I'm really interested in what comes out after November, when the ballots get in the House and whether or not those ballots are returned. So I don't really think that those delegates are going to influence the outcome. It might be indicative, but not necessarily. Look at Hillary Clinton. If you looked at her numbers,
that's a real good point.
We're going to stop the election before November. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, it did not work out that way, and so I think that the debates, and I really, one of the things I appreciate about your doing this is that I don't want to see no debate run by the government. The government need to get the hell out of the affairs of the Teamsters Union and allow us to go and be who we are. And I'm not even so sure if the government is not in here manipulating some of this divisionism, right? Because, like I said, the government is an extension of the capitalist state, and the government don't want no strong Teamsters Union. And, it's the government that's a part of Federal Reserve, the tax system, and so forth and so on like that keep workers in the negative state that they find themselves. As hard as they work, their wives are working, they working, and they still can't hardly make ends meet. And I think that the government could come in tomorrow and change that, and it's not happening, right? So what you're doing through this forum is going to make people start to look up and perk up, because people walk away from this conversation on Sunday and it spills into Monday. Did you check this out? Did you hear this? You know what I'm saying? Right. And so that as we start that, as that drum beat gets louder and louder, I think November is going to be more important than June.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I just hope people vote. I really do, because I've said this, I think, every day, or especially on this show. It doesn't matter if you vote for Verma, whether you vote for O'Brien. If the people don't vote, everybody loses. Everybody loses.
Yeah.
Everybody. Yeah. So we can pump our chest. Oh, I'm voting for this guy. Pump our chest. I'm vote for that guy. And then 100,000 people vote. And guess what happened? Nothing's gonna change. Yeah. Nothing's gonna change.
I mean, you got local unions, 10,000 members, 12,000 members, and they have an election for officers or delegates, and 1,000 members turn out and cast a ballot. So what does that say? Does that mean that I have 10,000 happy members? And I don't think so. I think there's a disconnect, and I've said this, that I don't say that to cast it at some other local. That disconnect is in local 808 as well.
Yeah, and 623 as well.
We have to fight out of that. I mean, so yesterday I stopped to see some cats that were working, and we're talking about ABC 1, 2, 3, and the guy says they stole the election. And I said, bro, this is America, that's a highly developed country, man. Arizona and Georgia, two places where every apparatus of the government in those two states are run by Republicans, and you thought that Joe Biden could steal the election in those two states? I says, let's say that's true. Why didn't he steal 6 or 7 more states so he didn't have to be bothered with Joe Manchin? You know what I'm saying? Who seems to think that poverty should be the way of life. You understand what I'm saying? Because and that people's inability to vote should be the way of life, because they're trying to preserve themselves. So they want that vote pool to be concentrated in a smaller and smaller group, because the more people that come in, they're starting to ask questions. Now you start to see the AOCs, the Ayanna Presleys, the Ilhan Oman. They don't want that.
No, they don't.
They don't want that. They want the trial and truth. And so we need to have, and whoever wins this election needs to see, in order for them to confront corporate America, 750,000 Teamsters voting in that election. When you get elected with those types of numbers, then corporate America realizes that you have real power.
Absolutely.
I'm doing 10% of your members vote, man. You ain't got no power. I starve them out.
Right.
They starve them out.
Like you said, they starve them out, and I'm hoping that people pay attention to this, because this has been, on a personal note, my message from day one. That's why I haven't really attached myself or 623 or whatever to any slate, because number one, it's not about them, it's about the membership. If the membership don't become engaged, and you can vote for who you want to, then we still gonna be on the back burner. And I'm tired. My members are tired. Members across the country are tired of being put on the back burner. The only way to get to the front is you gotta work. You gotta be engaged. You gotta fight. You gotta push. Right. For whatever reason, and I get it, and I understand why our members feel like, nothing. If they do vote, nothing's going to change, because some of the candidates that we have, and I get all that, and that's that apathy that we got to get out of. But I understand it. I understand it. But at a certain point, you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
That vote in Georgia. That vote in Georgia rescued our pension, Central States pension plan, rescued a lot of different pension plans, the mine workers and so forth. And that's going to allow those people to retire with dignity. So your vote counts, and it matters how you vote and what have you. So had the Democrats not won Georgia and Arizona, those pension plans were going to die, and people are going to lose a lot. So people have to, you can't just look at something. And for those people, that rescue, I mean, I don't know that it's a permanent solution for Central States and other pension plans, but it certainly buys them time to figure out what the fix is.
Right. So I'm hoping that people take heed to our words and just come out when you get your ballot, vote. Don't set it down on the table. Don't put it up on top of the refrigerator. Don't say I'm gonna get to it later on. We're gonna go ahead and do it now, because
Exactly.
we gotta get out of this frustration of that. Hey man, no matter what I do, nothing's gonna change. I mean, if you don't get involved, then nothing will change. Nothing will change. So
well, that's it, right? So the frustration built up over years. Didn't start yesterday. When you went back 10 years, you could actually go back probably 35 or 40 years, certainly triggered by Reagan and the breaking of the PATCO strike there with the airline flight with the air traffic controllers. So that frustration has been building for 40 years or better, right? So now it has become concrete within the working class, and the unions have to go in with jackhammers and start to break their members out of that concrete to free them up again, but but just watching what happened with the passage of that COVID bill gave endangered pension plans should give people cause and rise. And then if you look at the voter suppression bills that's going on across the country, I mean, who are you trying to suppress in Montana? I mean, how many blacks live in Montana or Idaho or Iowa? Sufficient for you to go into the legislature and change your laws to suppress forms of voting, right? So that tells you that it's not, we keep making this argument like, oh, they're trying to suppress the black vote. The black vote is a part of the working class. They're trying to suppress the vote of the working class. We happen to be probably highly affected because we have been probably the most oppressed part of the working class. But they're after all workers, whether you white, black, Latino, woman, Asian, LGBTQ. They want all of you to be living in poverty and working for as cheap as possible.
I can't. I don't know why we keep electing these people, especially on that level, who come up with these laws to want to suppress people's voices. Like you said, it doesn't matter what color you are. Why would we get behind anybody who tries to suppress the vote and tells you that you're no good for using your vote? I think I saw one bill where they said that it was going to be illegal for you to get somebody to give you water while you in line to vote.
What in one of the hottest places in America.
Right. How is that even? How do we even consider that person a leader or someone who should be making policy? How? Even in our own union, how can we consider anybody who tries to or has tried to suppress the vote and all this other kind of stuff? How can you consider that person to be in any leadership in the union? I don't get that. I don't get it.
And where is the rise from the leadership of the union to fight back against these voter suppression bills? Where is the union leading marches on Tallahassee, leading marches in I don't know what the capital of Texas is.
You know why, Chris?
Why? Where's that leadership?
The reason why they're not going to speak out against it, especially in the Teamsters, because they condone it in their own ranks.
Exactly. Absolutely.
That's why.
Believe it. That's right. And so that we can't get free until we recognize that freedom makes us all actually more powerful. People think that, well, if I empower Richard Hooker, it takes power from me. No, it don't. I still got all my power. I just made Richard more powerful. You understand the point I'm saying? So Richard's power, along with my power, right? So I'm gonna give you this little quick story. Sometimes I get long-winded, but forgive me, I got too many stories.
No, it's all good.
Two workers, one white, one black, both making $70,000, both living in inner city Philadelphia. Cost of housing is the same. Cost of heat is the same. Cost of rent is the same. Buying food is the same. Everything is the same. Why is it that only the white worker is the angry worker and the black worker is not angry, right? Because they try to sell us this idea of this angry white worker that's voting for Trump and what have you. No, the black worker is angry too. What the black worker understands is voting for the boss ain't gonna help him or her, right? So the white worker keeps thinking he's the only one that's angry and we are so happy, right? But if we actually got together and recognized that both of us live in Philly, both of us have the same headaches, both of us have the same problem paying our bills, because remember what I said before, we 45% behind in wages. That worker making $70,000 should actually be making $120,000 living in Philly. You understand the point I'm saying?
Yep.
Now, if you gave him that $120,000, his burdens are eased. and he doesn't have to find someone to blame for something because my bills are paid and my kids is going to school and I'm going on vacation to Disney World.
Right, right,
You know,
right. Wow.
so the
When you
union has to break those things down.
Yeah, yeah, and there's the kind of transformational, generational leadership that we need in this IBT. Someone who thinks like that, thinks outside the box, and doing all those things. But whew, man, we in trouble.
And that's what we got to be looking for. That's, in this election, we have to be forget the loud voice.
Yeah.
FDR talked about speaking softly and carrying a big stick. So a lot of times we get caught up in the boisterous nature. Trump was talking about putting these 100% tariffs on goods coming in from China. This was his speech apparently yesterday in North Carolina. Well, all the goods coming from China into America are not Chinese goods. They're goods that used to be made in Pittsburgh. They're goods that used to be made in New York. They're goods that used to be made in Philly, in America, that got shipped over to China. So it's not like you taxing Chinese goods. They just made in China, but they're American corporations that saw fit to go over there for cheap labor. So societally, we have to say to our government, corporate America, listen, man, you need to start making Nike sneakers in Harlem. You need to start making Reebok in Brooklyn. You need to start making iPhones in Philly. You need to start making Nextel or whomever, whatever, in some other place in America, because there is no competition between America and China, because all the things that's coming from China to America, by and large, are American-owned companies.
Right.
It's a flim-flam against the working class.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I'm just hoping. I'm hoping that everybody's paying attention to what we're talking about. Get out to vote. Hold your local leaders accountable. Hold yourself
That's
accountable.
Right. That's right.
Hold yourself accountable. Hold your coworkers accountable.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, are you voting?
That's right.
And if they tell you no, listen, you got to vote. We can't keep complaining.
You ain't eating lunch with us next week if we don't see that ballot coming in.
Right.
You ain't with the team no more. You ain't hanging with us no more. You ain't coming to the party no more. You out.
Absolutely. It has to be. It has to be. We have to hold each other accountable. This election is serious.
It is.
This is not something that you can play with, man.
Yeah.
People's livelihoods are at stake. The conditions, the vision, the legality, all of it is on the table.
Yeah.
We picked the wrong people. It's just going to get worse.
This is a moment in time for our union, and I think that if you go through the annals, there's just regular elections. We voted for this guy, we voted for that guy, but then there are those moments in time when it becomes you're at that crossroads moment.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I think we're at that one of those crossroad moments within our union that is going to be very crucial to what happens in the future. And let me just say this, because a lot of people talk about strike. A strike is not what we came to do. What we came to achieve was a good contract. What we came to achieve was a fair contract. What we came to do was to take care of the needs of our members. If that requires a strike, then so be it. But it's not what we did not go to the bargaining table to strike. We went to the bargaining table to get a contract. You got a contract with Greyhound. You didn't strike. Right?
Nope.
But
absolutely.
But that company knew that these members of 623 and Greyhound meant business.
Absolutely.
And if we can get that message to UPS, that listen, man, I just want you to know we armed and ready. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? It's funny that you talk about that, man, because what happened there was really, I wish I could just translate that and sprinkle it on every member. So people got to understand that was my first ever contract trying to negotiate that, right? So I'm under a lot of pressure. My first one, can't screw it up. And then the pandemic hits. Nobody's traveling. Nobody's riding the buses. You talking about a company with already no money, is up for sale already, is now the money that they already, don't have, now they digging into that. And now I got members saying, man, what we gonna do? Because we gotta work. No one's traveling, but we gotta get a good contract for them. So what do you do? So I'll never forget, man. We went in there, had some rank and file members. We talked about our demands, and they actually had a lady who used to be one of the she was like a financial expert for UPS, and I told her in negotiations because she was talking reckless. I see now I see why you used to work for UPS. Now I understand. Oh man, Hooker, what you talking about? You can't talk to us like that. So I said, listen, until you guys are ready to negotiate and bargain in good faith, then this is over. So that was a weekend. Come back Monday, they still talking dumb. I said, this is it. So I think a couple of days later, we had already started organizing a rally at Greyhound. Man, we go out there, man. We had Teamsters, we had people from SEPTA, all different unions. Man, city council. Man, we made all kind of noise. Don't you know? The very next day, Hooker, listen, we didn't mean no offense. We apologize. Let's go ahead and do this, and we got the deal done. But it was a collective fight.
Yeah,
they knew we meant business.
Business, that's it.
And we understood that nobody was traveling, but we weren't gonna let them take advantage of our workers.
Because they still driving.
They still driving
every day.
Yes.
Passenger, no passenger. This bus is going from here to there every day. And that's what I mean. So when you hear these people talking this reckless talk about strike, I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, UPS which is an enemy within the context, right? All these employers, let's not just isolate UPS, YRC, some nondescript company with 20 Teamsters. All of them are our enemies because they want us at the cheapest way possible. When that employer recognizes that we are willing to go to the nth degree, if you walking in the street and a guy looking to rob somebody looks at you and thinks, think about jump on this dude, he gonna jump back, he gonna pick on somebody else, right? So your position is to go in from strength, which means that we start to do the legwork to coordinate with all the locals, to coordinate with the Central Labor Council, to coordinate with community organizations. So that company recognizes when this jumps off, it's on, but we don't go into negotiations thinking strike. We going into negotiations thinking good contract. And,
right.
A lot of people talk all that rah junk, but some of them have lost strikes that to me to this day still begs my thought process.
Yeah, somebody talked to me earlier and they said, what's the plan? I can get you out, but what's the plan of getting you back in?
Yeah.
And that's what we had to ask these leaders this question. I get it. I hear the rhetoric. And I tell my people today that we're not looking to go on strike in 2023, but I do want our people to be prepared, and I want the company to know, like you said, we're willing to go to the nth degree.
That's right.
If it does break down, our members are already prepared to fight you to the end, because we have a plan to get them back in, not just to go out, but to also keep them out if necessary, and then also bring them back in. So I'm wondering what is whoever wins, but you hear the rhetoric, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But what is the plan if that doesn't work? You got to have a plan B, C, D, E, this Greyhound thing, man, we had like a 5-part plan of what we thought was going to happen. And we knew they was going to use the pandemic. We knew they was going to use all kind of excuses, but we were willing to do whatever we needed to do just to keep our members working without disrespecting them as well.
Right.
So, I'm hoping that whoever wins has a plan to do that. It's just not talking to sound good. Are we going to do this? We're going to do that. Okay, but what's the plan?
That's right. So General Colin Powell said, you have to have an exit strategy, right? It's easy to jump in. How do you get back out, right? And we saw what that mindset when we went to Afghanistan and we went to Iraq and thought that this was going to be, we'll be in and out in 3 weeks. And 20 years later, and God knows how many trillions of dollars. So when the working class, those of them who like to think about these things, recognize that we live in a society that has spent trillions from 1990, 2011, whenever they went into this here war with Afghanistan and later Iraq. And there was nobody that worried about the budget. Nobody worried about whether or not we could balance any budget or anything like that. When workers see that, workers need to understand they could do the same thing for you too. Why are we building a highway in Afghanistan when the highway across the Benjamin Franklin Bridge is falling down?
Absolutely.
So workers here need to become very, very conscious. We love to talk about, we could blow these guys up. We spent mega trillions on 2 wars in which people need to be very aware. We lost. We have lost Afghanistan and we lost in Iraq, and that is not that's after trillions of dollars. And I'll bet you that if they told you tomorrow it was 7 trillion, it's probably really 10 trillion because it was 3 trillion. There was some hidden money that they had to keep off the table and not let you know about it. So we live in that type of a society. So the working class needs to get up. I mean, Dr. King talked about it. The money spent on war ain't building affordable housing, ain't providing medical care, ain't providing universal care, ain't providing for a better social security system. So we got to wake up. The discussion of this election within the Teamsters has to be broader than just a contract. It has to go to the entire working class because we, as organized labor, we are the military wing of the working class.
Right. And like the military, we got to fight for our people, protect our people, make sure that when they go to work, they work in great conditions. All these things. I like that. I never thought about it that way. We are the military branch of the working class. And you're right.
That's right.
You got to have a good general. You got to have good soldiers. But this is the thing. The soldiers cannot be afraid to engage in the fight.
That's right. That's right.
My father was a soldier in the Army for over 21 years. And he always talked about, respecting the leadership and things like that. But he also said that each soldier has a role. And you have to do that role. You have to know your role. If you don't participate in your role, then you affect the unit.
That's
if
right.
you affect the unit, then the unit might lose. And if the unit loses, it affects the army.
That's
if
right.
it affects the army, it affects the country.
That's right.
So each member is part of this army. If they don't be engaged, if they don't participate, then we are all liable to lose. All of us.
Yeah, it's the weakest link theory, right? The chain is only as strong as the weakest link. And we have too many weak links in our chain, what I'm saying? Our disengaged membership. We have some leadership that's questionable.
Mm-hmm.
We have leadership that's not speaking out on police brutality. We have leadership that's not speaking out on voter suppression. We have leadership that's not speaking out about strengthening Social Security, strengthening Medicare. I have a health fund, and if they came to me tomorrow and said, Chris, we want to do universal health care, but you have to give up your health fund, I hand it over in 10 seconds. I wouldn't even blink to think about it.
You know what, Chris? There's a group of people who always like to come at me about this Medicare for all thing. And I used to be against Medicare for all until I became principal officer of this local. And I'm gonna tell you why. We had a member, and it's very near and dear to my heart because she has lupus. and my mom passed away from lupus. So
Mm.
it kind of sticks to me. So when people start talking about Medicare for all, they they try to make it like this is a bad thing, but I have a face to go with it.
To go with it.
So it's not just this government assistant. This is a person. Every time somebody says Medicare for all, it goes to one of my members. And so she got fired, and because our benefits are connected to the employer,
Mm-hmm.
she lost her benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Now she
Mm-hmm.
was on the list to get a kidney transplant. She couldn't get the transplant because she had no benefits.
Benefits.
So now this disease is attacking her. She could die at any moment. She doesn't have health care because it's tied into her employer. No employer should have the rights to whether you live or die.
Live or die. That's right. That's right. And that's one of the things that people don't realize. And that's when the whole is more important than the individual, right? You
Yes.
know, our nation is more important than just me. I got
Hmm.
mine, so the hell with everybody else. And so, you know, Medicare for all is good. I don't usually use those terms because I'm not sure that I think I want it to be better than Medicare. I think Medicare
Hmm.
should be better than it is.
Right,
Um,
right.
but Medicare for all, universal health care, a system that exists in Canada, Sweden, England, Germany, France, and what have you. They could go get all of them and put them together and make that for
Hmm.
us too. You know, and in fact, it would be cheaper because one of the things when you go to the bargaining table and you know this from doing what you do, one of the biggest cost items before the
Healthcare.
negotiations even start is healthcare.
Absolutely.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So, you know, we can jump up and say, well, I want $1 an hour. The guy said, listen, man, I got to put $10 in the healthcare kit. I ain't got $1 for your salary, you know. And in some parts, you know, it's real. It's very real to smaller
Right.
employers and so forth and what have you like that. So, you know, I would in 10 seconds, if you told me that giving up my health plan would allow us to have Medicare for all or universal health care in a heartbeat, I wouldn't even think 3 seconds to do it,
Yeah.
you know.
And to be able to take that ability from the company, whether your members live or die, to me,
That, yeah,
you can't put a price tag on that.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can't. Yeah.
And
But people, they don't see it that way. Yeah.
you know, when you bring that up, because I'm gonna tell you about, you know, I was in the hospital twice last year for cancer, and I met a sister in the hospital who also had gone through extremely serious medical conditions, and the company allowed her to continue to come to work whenever she could so she could keep her medical benefits to take care of themselves. This is what you do for somebody who's running up and down and delivering your packages by 10 o'clock in the morning. You are rich enough to say, hey, listen, we can have a contingency emergency fund. We're not going to fire you because if you know what lupus is, then you know this is no reason to be fired.
Yeah,
And you're
absolutely.
rich enough and powerful enough to say, hey, listen, we have another little separate pot over here, and your medical benefits are going to be covered during that time. And this is the evil that this capitalist system that we live in is not that capitalism is just simply by itself. If you're a communist, you might say I'm wrong, but um, the evil of unbridled capitalism, the evil of a system that has no room for those in pain, those that's less than, those that's suffering, that we got to put a bridle on that rascal right there and break its back. You know,
Yes.
yeah, you know, no
Yeah.
doubt
I
about that.
agree. I agree. Yeah, 'cause that used to always bother me, man. That especially within the union, man, we fighting about this Medicare for all thing, and like you said, when I got mine, you gotta get yours. But I'm gonna tell you something. I always wanted to ask this question to those people. Let's just say that was your wife or your husband who were out like that. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
what would you say then? Oh man, the company, I bet you they changed their tune then. But
But in a
but
heartbeat.
yeah, but until it happens in your house, you could care less. You can
Yeah,
care less.
because you know, you talk about lupus. A dear friend of mine, we were stewards together. He was a board member with me. One of his daughters died from lupus,
Mm,
and we just had a nephew that died. Well, it's not a blood nephew to me, but we all married to sisters and brothers and what have you like that. There was technicalities, and he died. Matter of fact, he committed suicide. He took his own life because the lupus. Apparently the medication that he was taking puts you in one of the side effects could be suicidal thought processes and what have you like that. And with all he was going through, man, and he took his own life. It was sad. Could his life have been different, if things were different? Because he probably didn't have good medical coverage, what I'm saying? Because he was a musician. So it's quite possible that
yeah, absolutely.
he didn't have
Yeah.
all the things he could have. But this is why we have to see. One of the times that you get a guy who used to drive a truck, and now he's a trustee on a $10 million health plan, $20 million health plan. And I'm going to Hawaii next year, and I'm going to, this year they're going to Denver, and next year we're going someplace else and what have you. We're going to all these fancy trips and what have you like that. I don't want to give that up. You know what I'm saying? And this is where we have to sometimes remind ourselves of what it is we came. We didn't come here to be this. You know what I'm saying? We came here to make society better. The labor movement is about uplifting, man, the downtrodden and the poor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's also the what the church is supposed to do. I told somebody before, the church and the union basically has the same objective. Like you just said, uplift the people, better your community, gives people something bigger and better to believe in, fight for people. This is good, man. This has been a good conversation here, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And your goddaughter, man.
Oh
I
yeah.
love her T-shirt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they've been asking for some shirts. So
nice.
We got panel starts tomorrow down in Virginia. So I came down here I did it earlier to see. Haven't seen them since the COVID started.
Right.
And so it's been a little while. So came down to see them before we hit the road tomorrow for panel. So
tell them to get their shots, man. Tell them to get that vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about this. See that little hand growing out of my back right there? I got the vaccine. I got this little hand growing out of my back, but tell them it works good because I used to have difficulty scratching my back. No, I don't anymore.
I hear you.
But we can see just with the introduction of the vaccine how we're starting to get back to a sense of normalcy. And I don't know that we'll ever be pre-COVID normal, but we can get back to some place of normalcy. And the more people that get the vaccine, the better we are going to be as a society, But also, I don't want people to forget, go out there and buy this book, Speaking in Our Own Name. It's about when workers get together, just like you did with Greyhound, having sector workers and all these different workers, all the coming together to stand in solidarity. We did that around a thing called the Million Worker March movement, and then the subsequent actions that took place after that. So I'm promoting it. It's by a brother named Clarence Thomas, who is not a judge, but a real trade unionist, a militant trade unionist, former Black Panther. People should get out there if you're interested in the history of the labor movement, because it's actually written by someone who participated. Usually books are written 50 years after the event, and none of the people who participated in that event could give anything to the book. You know what I'm saying? So get out there, buy the book, get involved, and vote.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, these next 5 months are going to be life-changing. They're going to be instrumental to what we do moving forward for the next 5 years. As Teamsters, and we got to make a decision. Listen, this is not easy. This is not an easy decision. We have some candidates, man, who, listen, like you said last week, they shouldn't even be in the union. Shouldn't be in the union
at all and holding position. But I want to give some props, man, to Dr. Robin Cooper.
Yes.
Who made me kneel for 8 minutes and 45 seconds I haven't felt that kind of pain in a while, and I'm glad she didn't find out, and it was 9 minutes and some seconds. But people like Dr. Cooper are important. I'm a railroad worker. I swung a hammer for a living. You loaded trucks, unloaded trucks, or drove them, what have you, like that. But Dr. Cooper is an intellectual.
Yes.
Dr. Cooper has her PhD, and we need to merge. So I just wanted to thank her for that day because it gave me a sense of understanding that I did not have. Conceptually, you know somebody kneeling in somebody's neck. Yeah, we conceptually. But when you knelt on your own knees, you can then really begin to know what, or understand, I shouldn't say no, understand what George Floyd felt. And I wanted to thank her for that. I hope to see so much more of that sister in this movement because she's very bright. I love listening to her when we were down there. She, it's just, like I said, I come out of a rough and tough railroad industry where, we just talk crazy all day long. And it is so pleasant to have a moment to listen to an intellectual address some issues. And I just wanted to say good morning to her. I know she's on your show, and
Yep.
and I have a lot of love for her. Yeah, just wanted to
Yeah,
let her know.
I told her because she came out to our rally this past week, and we were talking, and like you said, man, she's a phenomenal human being, a phenomenal woman, and much respect to her. I got to get her to come back on the show because that show that we did months ago, I enjoyed it, and so hopefully in the next couple of weeks, probably what I should do, I'm gonna reach out to her, but she's listening now. After the delegate convention, we should do a show that Sunday
Oh
about what
man,
happened.
people need
And
to listen to that show right there.
yeah. So Dr. Cooper, I'm putting it out there now. You and I on that Sunday after the convention.
Yeah. You're
Let's
on the bubble.
yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and make it happen.
Yes,
Let's go ahead
indeed.
and make it
Yes,
happen.
indeed. No
Yeah, let's
doubt.
go ahead and make it
And
happen.
tell us about June 12th for anybody that might be in the Philadelphia area. I know you got
Oh,
something going on June
so
12th. I ain't
it's
forgot about it.
all right. So it's something that you said. I mean that I really take hold to, and it came from an idea that in 2016 when we ran the first time for office, one of my members said, Hooker, you're not going to beat the previous administration with 7 people. And I didn't think about it until after we lost. Because I knew it was going to be some issues. Race was an issue, experience was an issue. The guy's been in office forever. So I knew we was going to have a bigger contingency to take out the people that were in office. So we started linking up with teachers. We started linking up with the CWA workers, the IOTC workers, Philly DSA, city council. We started just broadening our horizon. So when we came to the gates, it wasn't just Richard Hooker and 623 Lives Matter. It was Richard Hooker. It was the CWA. It was SCIU. It was the nurses. It was the teachers. It was the electricians. It was the carpenters. So now I wanted to send 2 messages, one to our members and one to the company. Hey, if we are successful in our election, when we have these rallies, it's just not going to be seniors from 623. You're going to have to deal with all these people at your gates, all these people talking to our members about why we got to stand up to the company. And I wanted to send a message to the people that were in office. It's not just about us this time. Everybody wants change, and
That's right.
either it's public or private sector, everybody wants change. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday, it is next Saturday, the 12th. The largest union in the city, District Council 33, public sector, they're going to be entering into contract negotiations, and they just elected a new leadership, and they hitting the ground running too. Another black man, and so we linked up because again, there's not too many of us in these union positions of
That's right.
making decisions. So whenever somebody like that of color and minority, we always try to link up. And so he's having a demonstration down at JFK 1500 JFK on Saturday. I already told my shop stewards that I want them to be there, and that's going to constitute for a shop steward meeting because I want our shop stores to be on the front line. So whenever somebody in the city has a event, I can pick up the phone and say, hey, I need 3 stewards to go down here and represent 623. You know, I want to be able to send our members to different rallies to them to get, you know, engagement. You know, because it's just not about UPS.
That's right.
It's just
That's
not
right.
about UPS.
That's right. That's right.
All of us are fighting the same enemy. All of us.
That's right.
So I want
That's
them to
right.
get their feet wet too, because listen, I'm not trying to do this too long. You know, even though I'm young, man, the politics is gonna take me out either sooner or later. So yeah.
Don't think of it as politics.
Right. I know.
We must have a discussion about direction and
Yeah. Yeah.
strategies,
I agree with that too.
right? And it does. And that's why I say we don't have to be divided. You know, we both going to Harlem, right? So the goal is the same. We're trying to get to Harlem, and Hooker says, "Yo, man, let's go up 3rd Avenue, right?" And I'm like, "Yo, Hooker, man, 3rd Avenue got too much traffic, man. Let's go up Madison Avenue." No, I don't want to pass all them rich, fancy stores and what have you, man. Let's go up 3rd Avenue, some more work. I'm not, man, but they got the traffic over there, man. That's our debate. Our goals should be the same. Our
Yeah.
strategies will be different. You know what I'm saying? And so that we should be able to have an intellectual discussion about what strategy, you know, what methodology, what direction, what path gets us to that goal, right, with success. And that's what we should be having. It shouldn't be a cause for even though I think I deal with a lot of people who I even hug them sometimes that I know are racist, you know what I'm saying? You know, they still Teamsters. And as long as they in this union paying this dues, then I'm going to give them their respect as a member of the organization. I'm not coming to your wedding. You ain't getting no invitation to my wedding. However, when we get on the battlefield, you know, because wars have been fought in World War II, so forth. So Klansmen in one foxhole, you know, and blacks in another foxhole, but we both trying to kill that rascal over there.
Right.
So as long as we remain clear that we are not our own enemies, the enemy is external to us, then we can have a brisk, you know, aggressive debate, but one in which we still retain and maintain respect for one another.
Absolutely. And I think that's where we lose sight sometimes.
Yeah.
Even though you may vote for ours, somebody may vote for the power slate. Like you said last week, we got bigger fish to fry.
Got bigger fish to fry.
We
And
got
freedom allows us to do that, right? That's
absolutely.
what freedom and democracy. That's the beauty of the Teamsters, right?
Right.
And we're not taking advantage of the beauty of our union, which is the most democratic union in this. There's no other union in this country that I know about in which rank and file members elect national leadership, or in this case, international leadership.
International leadership, right. So again, I look forward to seeing you on July 4th. Whether or not
I'm gonna see you on June 12th.
June 12th.
And then we'll deal with July 4th after that one right there. And, you know, just going to spend some time with that family, man. Spend some time with your guys and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
love,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully, again, as everybody who don't know, hopefully, like I said, the Power Slate said they're going to be in Philly on July 4th. Hopefully, the R Slate will also join them in debate. Whether or not they coming out, that's up to them. But it's going to be a good time in Philly that weekend. So
we shouldn't have no debate that was run by the government. None. Tell the election officer to stick it up his thing. Just handle the goddamn ballots and count the ballots and let us know what the outcome was. This is about us.
I know.
Teamsters with Teamsters. We don't need the election officer to run nothing, say nothing, speak about nothing. This is us. And if a local or a joint council calls for a debate, people should be willing to show up for the debate. And if you don't show up for the debate, I question you.
Absolutely. And that's my thing. Listen, when those letters went out, Mr. Verman called me the next day. Hooker, I'll be there. I'm still waiting. for his opposition.
Right,
So
right.
we'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
That's
We'll
it.
see.
It'll be a telling story right there.
Yes, it will, because
Yeah,
the members need to have their concerns at least somewhat put to bed and their
that's right.
questions answered. This is
That's
what it's
right.
about. If we're going to be moving in this new direction that everybody keeps saying, then prove it. This is a membership based union, supposed to be.
That's right. It is.
But for the last few decades, it's been top down, and they still trying to hold on to that. But we got to break it. We got to break it. We got to break it.
That's right. It's going to take these members to break that whole that grip
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
top down people want to have. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
just to say the structure of this union. Talk about Teamsters are corrupt and what have you like that. When you look at the amount of money was spent versus the amount of money that they took out, people that they kicked out or whatever like that, biggest waste of money known to mankind. That being said, it is the structure of this union that actually kept it from being totally and completely corrupted by these external forces. The fact that we have autonomous and independent local unions, and we should never, never, ever diverge from having those autonomous and independent locals. And we should actually think about going back and recreating the four conferences that we have: Eastern Conference, Southern Conference, Western Conference, Central Conference, where all the collective bargaining agreements were reviewed and whatnot, so that if you had a substandard agreement, you would be called to task to either raise your standard or give up that group to somebody who can get that standard up. And we have. I'll give Ron Carey the props for the things that happened, but also he made some classic mistakes in undermining the structure, which then led to greater and greater centralization in Washington, D.C. And we need to have the power move back down to the grassroots.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where the power is at. The power is with the people.
It's
Like
with the
Fred,
people.
what's my man name?
Fred Hampton.
Fred Hampton.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's people, there's power.
Yeah. Died at 21 years old.
Yeah.
They recognized how powerful that young brother was. They didn't even give him a chance to breathe.
They didn't give him a chance.
No.
They didn't give him a chance. Whenever you are a transformational, generational type leader, you're going to have a lot of enemies. They're going to try to put you in the box, figuratively and literally. So, and they did. And that's why I don't want to happen to the Teamsters. If we're going to move away from this whole Hoffa ideology and Hoffa vision, then then we got to make sure that we do that. But the only way to do that, you got to put the power back into the hands of the people. Don't fight the people because they want more transparency and more power. Somebody told me something, Chris, man, and it blew my mind. Hooker, your leadership style will be the death of 623 because you give your members too much of a voice in what goes on.
Oh, they have no clue.
I was like, what?
What? I want my members to have more and more say so.
Right.
I'm a witness. We did a deal one time, a side agreement with the company one time, and we took it to the membership for ratification, and they turned the deal down. We thought it was a good deal. The member says, no, it didn't do what we wanted it to do. My president at that time was pissed. I mean, there are broken friendships from high school that still lay on the ground, shattered to this day, out of that one vote right there. They never healed. However, when we went to collective bargaining after that, we actually got a contract that was way superior, you know what I'm saying, than that deal that we. So you have to trust your members.
Yes.
Sometimes you're going to disagree with them.
Yeah.
You have to trust them. And if you trust your members, you can't never go wrong.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And that's what I base this whole thing. That's why I got this job, man.
Yeah.
And I owe them that. And I'm always going to do what's best for them. Whatever they ask me to do, that's what we're going to do because they put me here.
Right. That's right. It's the members who we serve. That's what people forget.
They forget that. They forget it.
Who we serve.
They forget that. They forgot it. all these years. Now all of a sudden they remember it now and want you to vote for them for office.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. When anytime you start to separate from the members, and drift, there are certain things. I'll tell you, this Million Worker March movement that we did brought me back into connectivity with some people and some focusing on some issues, and then coming forward after that, just guys like Chris, you just giving that energy, man. Just I draw from you. You guys is like a power plant to me. You know what I'm saying? I just plug up. I'm like a goddamn Tesla. I just plug up to you guys,
Right.
man.
Right.
And draw power from you, man, because people have to recognize and respect the debate. Democracy
Yes.
is messy.
Yes.
Democracy is unwieldy, but democracy allows us ultimately to live better. And that's what's
Absolutely.
important. Yeah.
And it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No doubt. All right, brother man.
All right.
Enjoy
Always
your time. Good luck at the panel.
Oh
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? And
Oh yeah.
keep fighting, man.
Absolutely.
Keep pedal to the metal, as they would say. Some old school
Always.
stuff I heard.
My father, and a few of my members told me 2 words: don't move.
Right.
Don't move. And I'm not moving. I'm not.
Right.
So we gonna keep grinding.
Yeah,
We
man,
know we're
stand
gonna
in your
ruffle.
truth.
Yeah. We're gonna ruffle some feathers. We're gonna make some people mad. We're gonna but that's all right. That's how we got here. We
That's how
got
you
here
got
because
that.
we
That's
ruffled
right.
some feathers.
That's it.
And
That's it.
so you can't make history
Yeah, that's
without
right, man.
ruffling some
Hey,
feathers.
listen, man. This is the goody two-shoe thing, man, ain't delivered nothing to nobody. I mean, just think
No.
about it, man. George Washington was rich, right? George Washington did not have to start no revolution. You understand what I'm saying? Thomas Jefferson had a plantation. He ain't had to start no. They could have just sat back, sent the king his money, and lived good. You know what I'm saying? They chose to ruffle feathers. Fidel Castro ruffled feathers. Nelson Mandela, Oliver
Yep.
Tambo, who a lot of people don't remember, my brother Oliver Tambo, who actually, when Nelson was in prison, actually was the one that was running the African National Congress. People need to remember these voices. Jesse Lee Jackson down
Yep.
in Selma,
Thelma. Yep.
they ruffled feathers, so there are so many people before us who ruffled feathers, and we need more feather rufflers,
There
man,
you go.
if we gonna get to our money, man, get our money
Right.
off of these corporations, man, and get
Right.
paid right.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
So we're gonna keep ruffling those feathers. We're gonna keep making people upset. But at the end of all of this, we're gonna be better for it. Our members are gonna be better for it. The labor movement gonna be better for it. Our
That's
families
right.
gonna be better for it, and our children will be
Gonna be
better
better for it.
for it.
That's right.
Yep.
June
All right.
12th,
That's right.
Philadelphia. Y'all come on down. Give this new brother what SCIU? Come on,
No, District Council. His name is Ernest Garrett.
Ernest
Ernest
Garrett,
Garrett, District Council 33.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be big.
What
And
do
then
they do?
they a public sector work
Okay.
union. They do with waterworks, trash pickup. They
Beautiful.
do a lot of those things.
Okay. So come on down to Philly if you're within 100 miles of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Get in your car, because I know you drive the 100 miles to go to the casino. So the hell with the casino. Come
Right.
on down to Philly and let's date it June 12th. What time? You know what
10,
time?
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Come on down, 10
Yeah,
o'clock,
1500
Philadelphia.
JFK. I'm gonna put up again, but also
Okay.
make sure you come back July the 4th, and let's hear what Mr. Verma has to say about his plans for the Teamsters, and hopefully Mr. O'Brien will show up. If
Show up.
not, then you'll
It'll be
hear
what it is.
it'll be what it is.
That's
All
it.
right, so we'll hear from Mr. Verma and his plan, what he has for the Teamsters. Again, if Mr. O'Brien decides to show up, then we'll hear from him what his plans, and we'll have some very hopefully we know it's going to be spirited debate, and then people can make the right decision on what they want from their leader in the next over the next 5 years.
Yeah, like a town hall meeting, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we can make it happen. But either way, the power slate gonna be here. Either way.
All right. Guaranteed.
So
no doubt. I'll see you
we'll it's gonna be at the 623 Union Hall.
All right.
All right.
No
So,
doubt, no doubt. We look forward to it, man.
yep, let's make it happen. All right, good
All
brother.
right, man. I
Appreciate
see
you.
you June 12th, brother. No
Yep,
doubt,
yep,
man.
yep, yep.
Stay
Have a
strong,
good one.
stay powerful. All right, now.
Yep. All right.
Peace.
Thanks. All right, good people. We're gonna get out of here. Have a good day. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget June 12th. June 12th, we're gonna help our good brother Ernest Garrett as they prepare for a contract with the city of Philadelphia. That's the largest union in the city, a public sector union. Then July 4th at 623 Union Hall, the power slate will be in the Philadelphia area. I know they're going to be talking to our members. They're going to be at the gates. They're going to be doing whatever they can to get their message out. Um, that whole weekend. That whole weekend they're going to be here. Again, I don't know what Mr. O'Brien and his team going to do. That's up to them. That's their decision. But again, the power slate people going to be here on July 4th. So again, God bless you guys, man. We love you. We appreciate you so much for joining in on this live show we got going on here. I'm gonna get out of here, spend some time with my god kids. I ain't seen them in over a year because of COVID. We got a panel tomorrow. We're gonna be going down there and do what we need to do down there to make sure we get the right results for our members. So God bless. We love you. Peace out. Don't forget that 623 lives matter. All right. Bye bye.